Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Professor Ming's Strategic Insights. It has been almost a week by now. Taipei, Beijing, and even Washington, D.C. were caught in a commotion. The reason for the commotion is that on February the 13th, the United States State Department's official website deleted a sentence from the paragraph. The paragraph is devoted to describing United States relations with Taiwan. It is an official one. The sentence being deleted goes like this: "We do not support Taiwan independence." It has been there for many years, but it's been deleted. It happened before. I'll explain it later. But anyway, the spokesperson of the State Department goes on to say, this is a routine amendment. We do that because we want to provide information to the general public about how we handle our unofficial relations with Taiwan. In order to further clarify or to reaffirm United States' official position on the issue, the paragraph says this. Let me use direct quotes to say what they say. First one goes like this: "We, the United States, continue to have an abiding interest in peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. We oppose any unilateral changes to the status quo from either side. That's the first paragraph. The second paragraph reads, "We expect cross-strait differences to be resolved by peaceful means, free from coercion, in a manner acceptable to the people on both sides of the strait." As you can imagine, this is really kind of controversial. I'm not saying the United States being controversial, but it would sound, to different years, it would sound different things. So there are two diametrically opposite interpretation of the paragraphs we just read. For those who support Taiwan independence strongly, they say, well, this is it. United States finally officially support Taiwan independence because they canceled that or they negate their previous position. And for those who do not like or do not support Taiwan independence, or even who support Beijing's position on the issue, argues that, well, this is a big change. United States said in the past, we do not support Taiwan independence. Now they don't say it. Doesn't mean they would go as far as to oppose Taiwan independence. There's room for discussion. So that's the first line of opposition. Second line is they argue, again, for those who mainland China or communist China, it says, now, again, this is it. The State Department of the United States officially recognized that both sides of Taiwan Strait have a say in Taiwan's future. So that's controversial enough. But this is not a simple question. Actually, when I was teaching in a college, I would say to my students, this is a very good topic for a PhD dissertation. So it could be developed into a 300-400 pages long article or a thesis, and to explain it in detail, or try to put it in perspective. But since our time is rather limited, so let me go straight to the point. Back in early 1972, when Nixon and Kissinger visited mainland China, and it was first time for Nixon, they met with both Mao Zedong and Zhou Enlai. They had lengthy conversation about international politics, especially about Soviet Union, the thing that concerned them most. Of course, they talked about Taiwan. And both Mao Zedong and Zhou Enlai expressed their concern about United States policy toward Taiwan, and especially toward Taiwan independence, whether the United States would support Taiwan independence or not. Nixon replied, and he said the United States did not and will not support Taiwan independence. Mao and Zhou were happy about the answer, but Zhou suggested, could you say a little bit more than that? Could you say United States will not allow Taiwan independence, or will not allow Taiwan to go independent? Nixon rejected that idea by saying that is something that we're incapable of doing. And then years later, the United States changed the wording by saying that we do not support Taiwan independence. And in a diplomatic circle, the language or the wording are very important because it has to do or involves the country's rights and duties and obligations and so on and so forth. So people tend to be cautious and tend to be prudent about how they describe or how to say things in a certain circumstances. Let's compare these possible wording. The first one is one we just mentioned, not allow Taiwan independence. The second one is to discourage Taiwan from going independent, or even as strong as United States will oppose Taiwan go independent. But all these means that it's not just a manifestation or expression of the United States' position on the issue, but it also implies that the United States will have to take some action to prevent it from happening. So the United States decided later on, that we cannot go that far. The only thing we can do about this issue is to express our position and to identify our position without other implications, and that will be it. So do not support Taiwan independence has become the official expression of the United States position on the issue of Taiwan independence. And that's how it appeared, or at least it's how it appears on the official website on the State Department of the United States. We know that, well, this is not the first time the United States admit this sentence. It happened before. It happened in May 2022 when President Biden was in the White House. It happened before. So Communist China burst into anger, and they protest against it vehemently, and even to the point of hysterically. And for some unknown reasons, the United States altered back and put the sentence back in a few weeks later. So you may wonder, since this kind of event may agitate Communist China, then why does Trump do it again? What's on his mind? We noticed that since Trump took office in January, he has done something that seemingly has nothing to do with China, but actually it has some kind of implications in this respect. For instance, the tariffs. Trump imposed 10% of tariffs on Chinese goods, and this is the very beginning. And people know that there may be more coming sometime in the future if the negotiations between the two countries fail or collapse along the way. Second is the tariffs against both Canada and Mexico. Actually, like we pointed out before, it's a manufacturer laundry against the Chinese companies who had their manufacturing factories or whatever, or manufacturing bases in these two countries. So actually, it's an act of manufacturer laundry against Chinese companies, and that's the second thing. The third thing is the Panama Canal. And about Trump's talk about Panama Canal and Greenland, some people consider it crazy, and some people consider it imperialistic. But actually, if you probe a little bit further inside, you'll notice that there are strategic calculations against Communist China behind the whole thing. I pointed out before, Communist China has been using anti or opposition to Taiwan independence as a grand strategy. They use it to mobilize their own people, to divide up Taiwan from inside, and to use as a leverage against the international society. Question is, how does the United States deal with this kind of a challenge? I think that we cannot rule out the possibility that Donald Trump is playing this card, this Taiwan independence card, in a reversed way. The logic goes like this. In the past, I did say I do not support Taiwan independence. Now, all of a sudden, I stopped saying I do not support Taiwan independence. And you, Beijing, you were worried. You'd be very much concerned. I have changed my position. Although I haven't said anything, but you may think that I may turn into supporting Taiwan independence, although I haven't said it yet. In the diplomatic circle, a change in the language may lead to a change in policy and may even lead to change in action, in real action. So that's what makes Beijing worry. In terms of U.S.-Taiwan relations, there are so many things that could make Beijing worry about. For instance, Taiwan's capability to produce chips, especially high-end chips, and Taiwan's ability to produce things in the semiconductor industry, and the bilateral relations between the United States and Taiwan, such as economic and trade, military cooperation, or even official linkage or official exchanges. All these would make Beijing worry very much. On top of that is the controversy over the Resolution 2758 of the United Nations, which was issued in 1971. And that was the resolution that expels Taiwan from the organization. In recent years, the United States begins to challenge this resolution. It says, yes, it expelled Chiang Kai-shek's regime and its representative from the organization, from the United Nations. It said nothing about Taiwan. It said nothing about Republic of China. It simply refers Taiwan or Republic of China as a Chiang Kai-shek regime and its representative. So the United States had the legitimate reason to say, well, it has nothing to do with Taiwan's sovereignty and has nothing to do with Taiwan's membership in the organization. So we could probably reconsider the whole thing. And it has become Beijing's major concern that the United States will eventually support Taiwan to enter into the United Nations, even in the name of Taiwan, not in the name of Republic of China. That would mean Beijing's long-time effort to block Taiwan's international status or international space would fail, would go down the drain. So for Beijing, the best outcome would be it's just an amendment or revision of the words, of the wording. And it has nothing to do with the policy or has nothing to do with United States' official position on the issue. A little bit more than this. Will Trump use this amendment of the statement to increase its chips in the future negotiation on tariffs or on other issues with Communist China? That's the second thing. The biggest worry is the United States really changes policy toward Taiwan and toward Taiwan independence and toward Taiwan's re-entry into the United Nations, or even re-establish its official diplomatic relations with Taiwan. By then, it would mean the emergence of one China, one Taiwan, or even two Chinas. In that case, Communist China will be driven by the United States into a dead end. They will see no way out. So the question now is, what can Beijing do to respond to this? First is they will diplomatically protest strongly. They'll summon United States ambassador to their Ministry of Foreign Affairs, pointing at his nose, jumping and yelling and screaming, and say that the United States are playing with fire. And this is a red line, and there's no way that you should cross this red line, and so on and so forth. And you should stop the action immediately. You should repent and change your attitude and correct your own mistakes and things like that. And that's for sure a strong protest. The second thing they can do is to start a new round of economic retaliation against Taiwan instead of the United States. And they may impose new tariffs on Taiwan or sanction this or sanction that, and so on and so forth. That's the second thing they can do. The last thing they can do is to start a new military drills, military exercises against Taiwan. We cannot rule out the possibility that they want to make the whole thing out of proportion. You may wonder, why would they want to go as far as that? That's because if they really see that as a leverage created by Trump, and for the purpose of creating a leverage to balance Communist China's advantage in the future negotiation over tariffs, they will want to use it to negate it or to cancel it. Or they can use it as a test, to test Trump's bottom line on the issue of tariffs against China. And the third purpose is to create their own leverage, because they don't have many chips in their hands, so they have to create something. And making the whole thing out of proportion is a good way to create their own chips. They're very good at it. And in the past, they used it very frequently, so we have to be very careful about it. Anyway, what I'm saying is this is no simple matter, and it'll become big. It'll become very big, either in the near future or sometime in the future. Anyway, Beijing will try to utilize this opportunity to create their own advantage against the United States. So both Taiwan and the United States would have to be very cautious about this, and we should communicate. We should maintain very good communication between the two countries, between the two capitals, so that we can deal the whole thing in a very good manner. And so, like I said, there's no simple thing. It's going to be tough. But anyway, let's be prudent and let's be careful. That's all I want to share with you today, folks. And I'll see you next time. I hope you liked today's program. Please subscribe it if you haven't done so. And share it with your friends. And then click the icon bell so that you can get a simultaneous notification when we have a new program on. Okay, I'll see you next time then.